Hey, what's up, people? Pizzal here, and today I want to talk to you guys about the newly released Scream Factory Collector's Edition 2-disc release for 1984's Silent Night, Deadly Night. Now, this is mostly going to be a review of the Blu-ray. However, I do want to spend some time talking about the movie. Now, a few years ago, I did a series of reviews entitled Holiday Horrors, and for that series, I did a full review of Silent Night, Deadly Night. So for a full, in-depth review of Silent Night, Deadly Night, go over and check out that video. I also picked up a second Scream Factory Collector's Edition 2-disc Blu-ray release for Silent Night, Deadly Night during Amazon's Black Friday sale, and I'm going to be giving it away to one lucky viewer, so stick around to the end of this video to find out how you can enter to win this brand new Scream Factory 2-disc Collector's Edition Blu-ray release for Silent Night, Deadly Night. And Silent Night, Deadly Night is a holiday horror classic. In my opinion, it is a slasher classic. I love this movie. It's been a staple of my holiday horror movie watching habits for many, many, many years. And I think Silent Night, Deadly Night is a unique film of its time. Now, keep in mind, this was 1984. This was the era of the slasher movie. This was every weekend there was a new slasher movie hitting cinemas. And of those slasher movies, you really had two different kinds. You had the murder mystery type slasher movie. Think of, The Prowler, Happy Birthday to Me. The list goes on and on. Or you had the more typical kind of Friday the 13th type slasher movie in which you knew who the killer was. They both share a lot of traits insofar as body counts, insofar as, over the top special effects. This was also the era of the special effects makeup artist being really the star of the show, the Savini era of splatter effects. And while Silent Night, Deadly Night, has a pretty big body count, is pretty violent, has a lot of, exploitation, slasher kind of standards, it's unique in that it's kind of a character study of the killer. And we know who the killer is in the movie. It's this poor young man named Billy who's had a very rough life, to say the least. He's had a very, very rough life. Starting from when he was a very young man, he saw his mother and father murdered by Santa Claus, or by a guy in a Santa suit. Now, needless to say, that kind of turned him off to the holidays. He goes to a orphanage which is run by a mother superior who is just the kind of character that you just want to punch in the face until their face turns into soup. From there, he gets a job in a department store, and what do they do right around the holiday season? They make him dress as Santa Claus and have kids sit on his lap and tell him what they want for Christmas. Needless to say, he flips his lid. He goes on a murderous rampage in the Santa suit, and it's pretty darn fun to watch. But what I love about Silent Night, Deadly Night is the fact that the killer, Billy, is really I feel a lot of compassion for him as a character. And in most slasher movies of this era, the first hour of the film is spent establishing the characters who are then killed off in the last half hour of the movie. With Silent Night, Deadly Night, the first hour of the movie is spent building on and establishing the character of the killer, and showing what a crap life he's had up to this point, where he flips his lid and goes on a murderous axe-wielding rampage dressed as jolly old Saint Nick. So you feel for the character, and you feel sort of conflicted in that he is killing people. He is killing some naughty people who kind of I don't want to say deserve to get killed, but they are naughty. And as he's had drilled into his head since he was a kid by this awful Mother Superior, who again, I'd just like to punch in the face, that if you're naughty, you should be punished. So he's just out there punishing the naughty. And the end of the film is it's very sad to me, because I want Billy to kill the Mother Superior, and he's so close to doing it, but it doesn't happen. And I really think, probably the most evil character in the movie is the Mother Superior, because she took this already, deeply scarred and tormented young man and helped turn him into a monster. So I've always that ending of the movie, I'm always like, get her, Billy, get her. And it's kind of sad, but I think the movie does an excellent job of building on the character of Billy, making him a character that the audience does feel for, while at the same time giving us all of the, slasher movie tropes that a horror fan or a slasher movie fan like myself just absolutely eats up. We've got a pretty big body count. We've got 12 kills in this murder, 12 kills in this movie. I'm not sure if that was intended or not, because the 12 days of Christmas, 12 killings. You see where I'm going. And we've got some pretty good kills in this movie as well. Of course, you've got the iconic deer antlers impalement, in which Billy hoists up a very young, very naked Linnea Quigley and impales her on some deer antlers. So you have all the accoutrements that any slasher movie fan would want in Silent Night, Deadly Night, yet at the same time, the movie made the killer the central focus. Instead of the killer being more or less a prop that just shows up, toward the end of the movie and starts, removing characters that the movie had been developing up to that point. The development is all on the killer. This is a slasher movie that gave the killer something more to do and something more to be than, again, just, the killer or the prop that shows up and removes characters from the movie until we get to the final act, which is the running and screaming chase with the final girl. I always dug that about Silent Night, Deadly Night. And I think that's what makes it stick out among the deluge of slasher movies that came out in the early 80s. Now, I pre-ordered this Blu-ray along with the limited edition NECA figure that you can see behind me right there when it was first announced on Scream Factory's website. And if you want to see an up-close and personal look at that figure, I did a full unboxing of the Blu-ray, of the poster, and of the figure just yesterday. I'll put that link in the description. Go over and check it out. This is an excellent release from the folks over at Scream Factory for Silent Night, Deadly Night. This is the kind of Blu-ray release that this movie has deserved for a very, very long time. We have some very nice newly commissioned artwork here with Billy right there on the cover. Love that artwork. It is, of course, a slipcase. And the sleeve inside is reversible, as you can see there. It's got the original iconic, absolutely iconic poster art for the movie. I love this poster art so much. Absolutely iconic. We get the theatrical version on one Blu-ray. We get the uncut version on another Blu-ray, which is in my Blu-ray player right now. This release sports a brand new 4K transfer from the camera negative. In the uncut version, all the uncut scenes that are replaced in the film are not from That transfer, however, TriStar cut those scenes from the negative. Those scenes could not be located, so they definitely stick out when you're watching the film in 4K and you see one of the uncut scenes placed back in the film. The quality certainly takes a dip. Let's just say Scream Factory did the best possible job that they could with what they had. They did a wonderful job, but those uncut scenes definitely stand out. The picture quality and the sound quality on this release are fantastic. The sound quality is amazing. And since this is from the original negative, there is a lot of film damage on the film, a lot of, those little lines and specks and, just damage to the actual film itself. You definitely see a lot of that on this Blu-ray. However, there are sequences in this Blu-ray that look absolutely fantastic on this 4K transfer. I've seen this movie on VHS. I've seen this movie on 2 different DVD versions. I've seen this movie on the bare bones Anchor Bay Blu-ray release that came out a few years ago. Actually, it wasn't bare bones, but it was more or less just an upscaled DVD version of the movie. This is the best Silent Night, Deadly Night has ever looked and probably will ever look right here on this Blu-ray release from Scream Factory in 4K. There were some sequences in the movie that they looked phenomenal in 4K. As far as extras are concerned, we get Sleigh Bells Ring, the story of Silent Night, Deadly Night. It's 45 minutes and 51 seconds in length. It includes interviews with producers Scott Schneid and Dennis Whitehead, writer Michael Hickey, actor Robert Brian Wilson, editor and second unit director Michael Spence, and composer Perry Botkin. Schneid, Whitehead, and Hickey all discuss the development of the story and screenplay. They discussed getting the movie set up at TriStar, which was a brand new studio at the time, and they were out looking for their very own popular and profitable horror franchise. Robert Ryan Wilson discusses auditioning and being cast in the film and how much fun it was for him to wear the Santa suit and do his bloody business in the film. Wilson and Spence discuss how they pulled off the kills in the movie, including the infamous deer antler impalement of Linnea Quigley. Perry Botkin discusses composing the score for the film. They discuss the moral upheaval and controversy that surrounded the release of the film, including the scathing Siskel and Ebert review. They discuss the film's lasting legacy and classic status among horror fans. Very nice making of documentary here for Silent Night, Deadly Night. Great stuff. I forgot to mention, I love the music in Silent Night, Deadly Night. I love the score, and I love the original music that was written for the movie. The song, The Warm Side of the Door. I've been humming that to myself pretty much all day today. The infamous Siskel and Ebert review of the movie. Look it up on YouTube. They go, Siskel in particular is like naming and shaming, the director Charles Sellier, the producers, the TriStar, just really trying to rile people up. And it's like he took it personally, which, whatever. But yeah, really great making of documentary here for Silent Night, Deadly Night. Next up, we've got Oh Dear, an interview with Linnea Quigley. It's 21 minutes and 50 seconds in length. Miss Quigley discusses getting into show business and being hit on by Jack Palance, one of her first film roles. He actually offered to take her for a ride in his helicopter. An invitation she politely turned down. She discusses getting cast in Silent Night, Deadly Night and being directed by Charles Sellier, who had a very hands-off directing approach. She discusses working in Utah, the locations, working the entire time, only partially dressed. She discusses the impaling scene and how they pulled that off. A very nice interview with Miss Quigley. Next up, we have Christmas in July, revisiting the locations of Silent Night, Deadly Night. It's 10 minutes. They go back to the areas in Utah where they shot the film and compare the locations as far as, using footage from the film compared to footage that they shot in July of this year from the same locations. Very nice. Next up, we have an audio interview with director Charles E. Sellier, courtesy of Dead Pit, recorded several years ago before Mr. Sellier passed away. It's 58 minutes and 11 seconds. Great interview with Charles Sellier, done by the Dead Pit guys. Mr. Sellier discusses his early career and successes in both television and film, including the Grizzly Adams series. He discusses the making of Silent Night, Deadly Night, filming the antler impalement scene, the great crew he worked with, casting the film, the controversy surrounding the film's release. Very informative, great interview with the late Mr. Sellier, courtesy of the Dead Pit guys. Next up, we have Santa's Stocking of Outrage, a series of quotes from protesters, critics, and concerned parents from 1984 criticizing the film for its depiction of Santa as an axe-wielding killer, including a quote from Mickey Rooney, who criticized the film for its portrayal of Santa as an axe-wielding maniac. However, later Mr. Rooney would go on to star in Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 5. We have a poster and still gallery, a theatrical trailer, a radio spot, and TV spots. We have 2 audio commentaries for the film, one with Robert Brian Wilson and Scott Schneid, moderated by Justin Beam, and an audio commentary with Michael Hickey, Perry Botkin Jr., Scott Schneid, and Michael Spence. I watched the film with the audio commentary with Robert Brian Wilson and Scott Schneid. Scott Schneid discusses the genesis of Silent Night, Deadly Night and the development of the story and screenplay. Robert Brian Wilson discusses how he was discovered and eventually cast as Billy in Silent Night, Deadly Night. They discuss the state of the horror genre in the early 80s and how TriStar wanted their own popular and profitable horror franchise. Wilson discusses how Lillian Siobhan, who played Mother Teresa in the movie, gave him some acting lessons on the set to better prepare him for filming the movie, as it was his very first film. However, she charged him for the acting lessons, and I believe he said they were about $35 an hour. So they discussed the shooting locations and filming in Utah. They discussed the controversy that derailed the film's release, the angry parent groups, the major media coverage, the Siskel and Ebert calling out the filmmakers by name in their review to publicly shame them. They discussed the film's legacy and status as a holiday horror classic. Great commentary for the movie. I don't think there was a moment's pause or a moment of silence during the entire commentary. Great commentary for Silent Night, Deadly Night. This is an excellent release for Silent Night, Deadly Night from the fine folks over at Scream Factory. The picture quality and sound quality are both fantastic. We have a lot of extras on here for you to sink your teeth into. If you've not seen Silent Night, Deadly Night, by all means, go out and watch Silent Night, Deadly Night. This Blu-ray release would be a great way to introduce yourself to the film. If you're a fan of Silent Night, Deadly Night, you definitely want to look into picking up this Blu-ray and adding it to your collection. Either way, if you would like to get your hands on this Blu-ray, since I have 2 of them, I'm going to do a giveaway and give away this awesome Blu-ray release. And I'm going to give everybody out there multiple opportunities to enter to win. Number 1, you have to be a subscriber to my channel, obviously. Number 2, leave a comment down in the comments section below. Follow the link in the description. Head over to my website. Go to pizzal.com /SNDN. Leave a comment in the Facebook comments section there. Subscribe to my website. Share the video on social media and make sure to tag me in the post either on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram so I can give you credit. I'll keep the giveaway open for 2 weeks, and then in 2 weeks' time, I'll put all the names into a random name generator, and I'll probably do it live and pull a name, and that name will win this Silent Night, Deadly Night Blu-ray. If you live in the U.S., don't worry about the shipping cost. I've got all that covered. If you live abroad, I'll check and see what the shipping rates are. If it's not too much, don't worry about that shipping either. But if you do live abroad and the shipping rate is going to be astronomical, I may ask you to PayPal me a couple of bucks to help cover the shipping, but probably not. We'll just see. But multiple opportunities for everybody to enter to win this awesome Blu-ray. Be a subscriber. Leave a comment in the comment section. Follow the link in the description. Head over to pizzow.com/SNDN. Subscribe to my website. Leave a comment in the Facebook comment section there. Share the video on social media and make sure to tag me in the post either on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram so I can give you credit. And yeah, great release. If you guys managed to pick up this Blu-ray, please let me know your thoughts on it down in the comments section below. Let me know what your favorite holiday horror movies are, also down in the comments section below. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. They're also right around here. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. Join the $1 a Month Club and help support my channel on Patreon. Thank you to my current patrons, Turi Delamore, Farron Sutton, Jeremiah Lambert, and Derek Jana. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.